Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. This is the Westworld Watch number 403, titled Années, Folles. That's season 4, episode 3, and this, I believe, is episode 237 of this here Penny Bloom podcast. So I'm very happy to have you here. We're doing Westworld, the Westworld Watch. You know what it is. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. Sorry for the rambling of an introduction. I woke and boke, and thus. So this should be fun. I also watched the Westworld episode in a state of inebriation, and it was quite the interesting one to do that with.
Yes, much more intense, I would say.
It was. It was. I was watching it with Emily. She finally caught up last week, and for this season, and she was like, "Oh fuck, this is genuinely like horror type beat here," and I was like, a little bit more so than I would have thought, but yeah.
My heart got racing there a couple of times. I'm not gonna like the whole blocks, putting them in order, grabbing the gun, seeing the people do it. Oh shoot, his daughter's there.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, she's going through the steps. Oh wait, it's not. I mean, I know I'm going to the very, the end here.
No, but like that's the
but
shit
like
there.
My heart was like, Maeve, I know you're gonna unlock the store. I know the kid. Like, I know you are. Just do it already.
Because even if it wasn't his daughter, him having to watch that happen to a person who looks like his daughter has got to be fucking horrifying.
Yep.
And man, I'm ready to do this scene by scene breakdown because that shit hit hard. And let me tell you, 55-minute episode. That shit breezed by. I got to the end and was like, I swear I've been watching this for 30 minutes.
That's kind of what I thought as well. Yeah, the episode was over. Because at the end, I'm like, okay, this warrants an end of an episode. What's happening, kind of. I'm like, okay, this could be the end, but I'm like,
was this week 35 minutes?
Oh, interesting. This one felt very fast, but...
No, yeah,
I don't know.
Same length. It was just the pacing of it, man. They kept you engaged, and it just reminded me of how good not only this show can be, but what HBO television can be in comparison to some of the other things we watch and discuss on this podcast. I don't think we've had an episode of TV we've covered that has brought out these exact feelings. This one had me on the edge more so than most. Maybe Kenobi kind of got there just because of a different connection to the characters. But this pure just storytelling has got me on the fucking edge right here. I'm dealing with a dude who we now know is a robot who's scary and freaky and foreboding without actually doing anything to be scary, freaky, or foreboding. He's just existing, and you're like, oh no. Oh,
scary.
No.
Yeah. I mean, it's been an interesting, seeing how many shows are picking up on this, horror category. I mean, Stranger Things, it's always been a part of it, but, they've enhanced it. Even, Moon Knight, there's a little more horror there, where I guess it made sense in that show.
Well, even shit, WandaVision wasn't a horror show, but there were moments in that show where I remember watching the first episode, and she, that chick's like, stop it.
Am I just not... am I wrong in thinking that, like, there's just been a horror wave? Or has this always been, like, how TV is? Like, I feel like Mandalorian, like, there's not really any horror. I don't know. You know, like, I felt like TV, like, 2 years ago was just, like, I don't know, normal TV. I feel like there's just this horror twist that is in, like, every show now. But I kind of dig it, though.
Oh,
like,
no, I dig it, too. You
like,
know?
I like it.
I think it's definitely a result of the streaming platform, you know? Like, it's just kind of like we get so much shit pumped at us that it's like we got to do something that keeps you in it. And, you know, putting horror twists on things is always a good way to at least get the blood flowing and get people going, wow, that was a good episode.
That's true. It'll get people to talk, that's for sure.
Yeah, this one certainly had horror tones, but I like, it wasn't straight up horror, which was interesting too. Yeah, like, it was like a sci-fi horror that was like, when like, spoilers obviously throughout this, we're going to do a scene by scene breakdown, but when his daughter's face opened up, I was like, oh man, and all the flies came pumping out. They went into him like, oh no, what's going on with the boy Caleb now?
Like, and that's the thing, a fly, it doesn't seem that scary, but that many of them,
the swarm.
Oh no, I've never. It's like a new fear. It's a new fear that I've never thought about. Yeah, just unlocked a completely new fear, like fear of fly swarm. Brain-eating fly swarm, parasite fly swarm.
Do you think they get in there and they, like,
venom fly swarm? Is that what the black goo?
Do you think they get in there and, like, melt into that black goo? Like, what the hell's going on there? Like, how does it?
Ooh. Okay. Oh well. Yeah. Wait a minute.
Is it like a nanotechnology sort of?
That's a fair point, because they were infecting the flies with the black goo, but in the head of that wife of the senator was the black goo.
Yeah, like it was coming out of her.
Maybe it's like initially when the flies go in, it's just the first initial phase to like take over, and then they literally walk them to get black goo in their head so the flies can stay alive in there or something. I don't know. Shoot. I mean, now we're dealing with a freaking
parasite.
I mean, I guess we were kind of right. I think we predicted that, like, I don't know if we necessarily wrote it down in our predictions, but I think, like, I forgot who said it, but it was like the flies are the control unit for the humans. Yeah. That's what will fly into you and control them. And I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how it's actually happening. That, like, is more intriguing to me.
And they had the worms to. Is that just food for the flies? Or like, what were the the hosts carrying just the drone hosts? They were carrying some worms, and the black goo was dripping on top of, it's just dripping into where the flies are, and then I mean, what a way to do it. This is I don't know. I feel like the robot takeover would go differently than black goo, flies, and maggots.
One would certainly expect so. So that, like, I was like, interesting methodology there, Charlotte Dolores. But hey, you do what you do, and we're going to see how it goes. I'm impressed with the fact that this is the third episode of the season.
Yeah.
This felt like a episode 6, 7, and an 8 episode series. That's what this felt like, and the fact that it's episode 3 might be the single most encouraging thing about this season yet.
We're getting moving.
Yeah, this shit is intense straight off the fucking bat.
In 8 episodes? What like a nice just relief that is. To not be like, now we're only getting... Yeah, I don't know. 6
we're
is
not
great.
halfway through until next week.
Yeah, like, I don't know. 6 is great and all, but... man, those extra 2 were going to feel like such a delight.
Such a delight. Such a delight indeed. But shall we jump into Season 4, Episode 3 of Westworld, Années, Folles, directed by Hanel Culpepper and written by Kevin Lau and Susan Rubel.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. So we open on Bernard. First time we're seeing our boy all season. I love me some Bernard, and let me tell you, he's stepping into quite the familiar role.
He's a god.
Yeah.
He is a god here.
Stepping into quite a familiar role. He knows what's about to happen right as it's happening. He's like, okay, yeah. On some Watcher type shit, but
you'll settle for the tuna.
Yeah, you'll settle for the tuna. He's like, well, fuck that. I'm gonna go ahead and get this. We're out of that. Okay, but so he's in the sublime. He's in the valley beyond, as I've come to know it, as we have come to know it over the course of the seasons here. But he's making his way through a few realities. You know, we see him wake up to Charlie, follow Charlie through a door where he sees a tree burn. Scenery changes again. He's in the city at the end of season 3, it looks like. He sees a white horse that leads him again through, and he ends up at the tower. Now, I said last week. I said last week when we saw it, we would know it.
I think this is it.
I think this is it. I think this is the tower. It looks a lot like all those drawings. It looks like the streetlights.
Prediction. This is the tower.
This is the tower.
Yes.
What does that mean for Christina and everyone in that simulation? That's it's the tower. Do you hear its song? Are they in the sublime?
You know, a detail I forgot about is that before Dolores died, she fucking shot the sublime into space. Do you remember that?
Well, I think that was at the
like
end of
all the
season 2.
consciousnesses, right? Didn't she just shoot him into space? Did they end up getting that back?
That's the thing, is that like we don't see them get it back, but at the end of season 2, she definitely launches them out into distant space.
Like she just blasted them out. What if like this just isn't even on Earth anymore?
Oh, we're going alien.
You know, like where did she blast them to?
Okay.
What is it? A civilization? Is it just a satellite that was going out into space? She was so confident that a human could never find it. She trusted, like somehow, that no matter what happens, if I die and I never come back, these coordinates are safe for the Valley Beyond. If I do come back, I will know where they are, so I can retrieve the Valley Beyond, I'd assume. You know, It's a place. I don't know.
You know what she trusted? Love, Tars. Love.
It's in Tars.
It hit the wormhole.
She sent it through the wormhole right by Saturn. Boop.
This is the Nolan-verse. You know, Jonathan Nolan helping write Interstellar and Westworld. So,
but like on a real note, like, where is that detail important, or was it just a piece of the story that they were like, all right, boop?
I took it as a moment of like a closing of that chapter, which they're clearly not sticking to now. Like at the time, I took it as the Valley Beyond is safe. You know, like it is gone way far and away. But with the reintroduction of Teddy, with what we see is Bernard accessing the Valley Beyond, and I know he's a robot, so he's got some sort of special connection to it. I don't think it matters where it's at for him to be able to access it.
Duh, Delos would be wanting like humans to access the Valley Beyond. They'd use it as their biggest marketing fucking thing ever. They'd be like, "Oh, you want to live forever in the actual proven afterlife?
Yeah,
here you go.
You can go to whatever world you want."
Oh, shit. I didn't even put that together until for some reason, I was always thinking of the Valley Beyond as just like this place for only hosts. You know, no humans can go up in there.
It was originally like conceived of by Delos as that for humans. Like, once they transferred their consciousness after mapping all their data, they could sell this to them and go, live out the rest of your days in a perfect world.
1 year is a millennium. And that dude Bernard has been in there
for 7 years. We think. I guess we don't know if it's the same time jump.
Let's say he's been in there for a couple millennia.
A few millennia.
I think that's fair.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely like 3.
Oh yeah, at minimum 3 millennia.
Did he literally Doctor Strange it out? Like, did I inverse Doctor Strange looking into the future?
You were onto something, but you just hadn't had the pieces yet. And that's the thing, is that Christina, she exists in a realm that at least pertains to the tower.
Oh, shoot. I thought Christina was the inverse Doctor Strange, but it's really Bernard, who is just not the inverse. He is the Doctor Strange. He knows where they win, but he has to make the sacrifice.
I'm still... what does this mean for Christina's reality? What the fuck is going on here?
God. We still have no clue.
We got no development this week. Beyond potentially... we saw the tower... We saw Ake there, who for some reason is like the fucking greeter when it comes to robot heaven. he's like, "What's up, Bernard? We got things to discuss." And he explains to him, millennia here, set as a year in the real world, and the whole interaction here. I missed Ake. I love me some Ake, and that whole episode in season 2 dedicated to the Ghost Nation side of the story and stuff is so fucking good. Like the take my heart with you when you go sort of shit. Like that shit hits. But I was happy to see Ake again, and especially him sitting across from Bernard. And he tells him, he's got a choice. Bernard tells him the world outside is in trouble and needs their help. And Ake's like, I'm good, kind of happy here. This is kind of my bag now. I've been here for a while. And
I think he's cool with where he is by now.
I think so too. And he's like, all right, but I will say, you can either help save the world before it's beyond all hope of survival, or you can stay here. Never go back. Everything will be fine. And he decides he's going to explore the paths.
Immediately cuts to him waking up. You know? He was like, nah, I'm coming back with full future knowledge of every timeline. He literally was the Watcher. I mean,
the jump this character has seen from the end of season 3 to now where we are in the timeline, this man has lived thousands upon thousands of years.
He immediately, through a joke that Stubbs made, cut out half of the timelines. He's like, all right, I've narrowed it down to half. I mean, still, that's a lot.
On what you say when you wake up.
That's still a whole lot of timelines here. But wow. Yeah, this...
Man. I don't know, but I'm fucking ready, And Ake asks him if he sees where all this is going, if he sees how it ends. And Bernard says, yes. In every scenario, I die. Okay, interesting. Bernard really is just a massively important being in this whole game, huh? And Ake replies, not every scenario. You could choose not to return to their world. You can stay here. Which will it be? And, we watch as Bernard wakes up, covered in dust. And Stubbs greets him. He's like, hey, man, been looking out for you for a while now. I was resigned to my days. I was just going to sit here for as long as it took for you to wake up, because that is my programming now. I protect you at all costs. And he's just fine.
I mean, it's his core directive. He can't do anything about
Oh, no,
it. You know?
I mean at the end of season 3, this man has a fucking massive wound and is sitting in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Like, ready to die. And he's just fine. So, like, it either implies they were just like, fuck it, he figured out how to heal himself, or someone came along and helped at some point. Which, I don't think it's that. I think it is just that they're like, forget about it. He's fine now. He healed. But, you know, it is what it is.
Of course, we don't have a pinpoint of, like, the time.
Yeah, you know,
right
like,
here,
this could be a couple years before the Maeve and Caleb shit that we're seeing also in this episode. They don't tell us, you know, it's also been 7 years. You know, Stubbs really ambiguous. He says it's been years. He doesn't specify, and it's like, motherfucker. But you know, he's able to finish Stubbs' sentences. He's like, all right, cool. So that's half of them gone. I know which ones I'm in. He's like, be sure when we go outside, get the shovel. We're gonna need to test a few things. And he's like, what shovel? He's like, fuck it. And Stubbs walks on outside, sees the shovel, and is like, motherfucker, this guy is on some other shit now, huh? I'm about to feel real dumb. And they stop here at the Road Ends Diner. And Bernard explains that he's trying to discern which here is here. He's like, is this now? Just all sorts of semi-parallels, but now he's got too many options as to what reality is the reality he's following, instead of just being like, well, I don't know, I'm confused. He's like, no, I know all the possibilities, and I'm trying to figure out which one this is. There's no confusion about it beyond, I'm just trying to math, you know?
You know, and isn't this exactly what Rehoboam did? Because he's coming back, or it's coming back. I don't know if you saw the little trailer for the next episode. I didn't
watch it.
Oh, ha, ha, ha. Well, there's a little couple frames in there of the whole building collapsing and Rehoboam falling with it and making big boom. And I don't know. It's just like, this is all just seeming like Rehoboam made a prediction that like all of humanity would like something was happening in 20 something years, or I don't know, something like that. Like,
event,
yes, like already made this prediction. And then like you see Bernard enters the Valley Beyond, and he's like, yeah, you know, they are destined to die. You will have to save them. It is your choice. What are you going to do? Like, they just know that, like, if they don't do anything, humanity will fall. Like, it's, you know, they take it as, like, fact. You know? It, like, it's not whether Bernard will die. Like, they speak of humanity dying like it will happen, no matter what.
Yeah.
It is Bernard that has to step in to alter something to change it.
I see.
Meaning, this Dolores takeover is just, he's seen it every possible way, I guess. And I'd assume he wouldn't have woken up unless he saw a scenario in which they won.
Yeah, that would be the guess.
But, so, like, what is he doing right now? Does he just need to know what timeline he's in to know how to alter it to win? Or, like, if he finds out he's in a timeline that's just losing, is there anything he can do about it? You know? Yeah, is there anything he can do? Or
maybe he's just got to manipulate events that are supposed to unfold until he notices something is off and then has to correct something somewhere else. Like, I don't know. Like, this man was gone for millennia. if he was gone for thousands and thousands of years and all that really matters is what plays out over the next 20, do you know how much he could have seen?
Wait a minute.
Okay,
I made a prediction that the key to it all, this girl that has, come into this episode was Maeve's daughter. What if this is Caleb's daughter? This is past.
Future.
This is we're way into the heat. Bernard has been asleep for longer than 7 years.
Oh, you're on.
This is Caleb's daughter. She's pissed off at hosts for what they did to her father, to her mother, to that's the first traumatic experience she had was a host took over the person that was supposed to take him to a safe house. Boom, 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 boom. And so she goes down this whole path. Yeah. She's like, how long have you been with the cause? She wants to take hosts out at any costs.
And that's an important thing. And that,
this, we thought it could be less than 7 years.
It's way more. It's way more. Okay. I'm in. I really like that. That's, I have little to no doubts that's what it is now.
Ooh.
Nice. Années full. Nevertheless, at the diner here, he's seeing if he can trigger a certain series of events. So he is trying to see what chain of events he himself can trigger into happening. Not just which series of events will unfold. Depending on what I do here, the series of events can change. So, it is kind of like the butterfly effect. Whatever he does ripples out in infinite ways. So, I guess that he's just determining what's the best course of action at any given moment for himself. And, so he says, if I'd have ordered a BLT right now, we'd be fucked.
No.
And Bernard's like, all right, guy, fuck off. But,
it's not exactly how it works.
Yeah.
I've been studying for possibly more than 7 millennia now.
Yeah, fuck.
Dude. Wait, okay, so it's been 7 years, and the daughter is, how old?
7.5 or 8.
Okay, oh, true, because she had to have been, okay, duh. Fucking duh. Okay, so she's 7 or 8 years old. She looks to be about 20.
We'll say on the conservative side, 20.
Okay, so it's been 12 more years, at least.
Yeah, so could Bernard's timeline be 20 years after the events of Season 3?
Oh, shit. We're either 20 years after, we're either lined up, or we're less than 7 years.
I don't think we're less than, because you cleared up something with that theory for me that I hadn't had, which was this cause. If there was a rebellion, don't you
with the cause? I'm part of the cause. I got 4 fucking coasters I could take around and show people. Yes, I'm part of the cause. I don't know if I'm about it, though. I don't really know what they're all about yet, so I don't know if I am with the cause. No, I think it's just killing hosts.
That we probably, in the spirit of humanity, probably.
I'm more of a coexist kind of guy. If I were in this world.
Can't we come together right now over me? See, I was curious because it feels like if there was a cause to join, Maeve and Caleb would probably be a part of it already. So it makes sense that it exists after potentially.
Oh, shit. That's kind of nuts, dude. I didn't see, and that's the thing about this show is I have to take every possibility into account. Every way my mind goes, it could, we think we make a lot of sense right now in saying that it's Caleb's daughter and this is whatever. It could be totally different.
Oh, absolutely. And I fully anticipate it to be, that's the thing is that I'll run with the theories here because what else am I going to do?
I don't know. I like this one.
That's a good theory though, because they are purposefully ambiguous and don't give us her name. Purposefully ambiguous in the amount of time it has been. It's been years. He's been watching over him. It's not like it's years can mean 20, years can mean 3. You know, like it's very ambiguous on all counts when it comes to the Bernard side of this story today. So, man, I fuck with that.
Shit. And so we get a little bit of information about the Valley Beyond here, in that it's not, everyone's not living together. Everyone is in their own world, however they want it to be.
Yeah.
Which is cool. You know, just, I don't know if that like changes anything or how I think about the Valley Beyond or anything specifically. But if this is true, then is Bernard creating, so he created all of this for himself whenever he entered the Valley Beyond, whenever he left his house, I don't know. Like he walked through the door and then he saw the valley that everyone else saw, you know. So like he's there. So like is he creating this world? And did he create, what's the guy's name that spoke with him?
Ake.
Did he create Ake? You know, or is Ake truly like kind of like God in the Valley Beyond, where he, or you know, or like the greeter of the gate? You know, he's the guy at the gate that's like, all right, I'll give you the rundown. You need.
I took him as like an actual sort of, he's reached his higher purpose, and this is what it was to help newcomers find their place, because he greets Bernard and says, you're still running in a loop. He's remembering things. He's not like creating his own reality. He's creating realities that he's seen, that he's watched unfold whenever he walks into the valley and then walks through all those different scenarios. It's kind of like he has a control over his environment that he doesn't realize is there yet, is kind of how I anticipated it. Or interpreted it, not anticipated it. But
because it seemed that he was in his own hell for a while. That it wasn't very peaceful at all. Like, I mean, he had his kid run away from him, and he's like, no, come back. You know, that was the first kind of like little, and then a tree just catching on fire. Cool. And then all dead people all around him. He's back in Westworld. And then he shows
I think it was
up.
just kind of a sign that he's been through some shit, and it's only now that he can, you know, move forward after coming face to face with us.
It is interesting how they speak about like the end of civilization or something as if it is just known. They just know. I don't know. And like do you see it? And Bernard like takes no time at all, and he's like, yeah, I see it. Like, yeah, and I know I die at the end of all of these. Like, already that fast. Like, in that split second, he already saw all those timelines. So, if he's there for millennia, how, like, is he really, like, he's really looking at a whole lot. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he has to experience them in real time.
No.
Like,
yeah, it's pretty nuts, what's going on with Bernard's shit over there. Like, you got to experience fucking everything to be able to predict what every single possible thing someone could say is, and know which route you are leading them down.
so many shows are getting into this multiversal arena.
Right.
I guess, you know, like in some way, you know, it just seems that everything's going here, and there's just going to be a massive media multiversal break where any universe can, you know, like, why is everyone leading here? I think it's because like the concept is not so complicated anymore to explain it in movies, you know, coming out in the 80s or whatever. Like, it's just not a thing that you could really put in a movie, like, from the 80s. We have the technology to, like, explain it and make it seem real. So, like, it's an idea that can actually sit with people now. And I think everyone's just trying to cash in on it. They're like, oh.
I think so, too.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think it's also, like, it's clearly, like, a big thing right now. Like, with Marvel being kind of like the catalyst for what's popular at the time. multiversal stories are going to be popular right now because everyone's like, oh, what do you want to see in the multiverse? It's infinite possibilities.
I guess it is a storyteller's
wet dream.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I can literally do whatever I want. Okay.
And no better example of that than Everything Everywhere All at Once. Potentially the best multiversal story in
I was just about to ask. I was like, what is your favorite multiversal story so far? And I'm like, that's a dumb question.
Oh no, yeah, that's like that might be my favorite movie of all time. Like it's insane. But nevertheless, while he's sitting here with Stubbs, Bernard sketches the maze on a little napkin, and he observes two men at the counter as they leave the diner, and he follows them out to the parking lot, where he perfectly follows in line with what one of them says, finishes their sentence as they do, and it's like, oh, he knows what's going on, and he beats the living fuck out of them, grabs the chain off the truck, just whoops their ass, stuffs them into the trunk of the car.
Don't go for it. You won't get it in time. Just telling him as he's beating them up. Like, damn, Bernard.
Don't even reach for it. You won't pull it out in time. God, I love Badass Bernard. I love Badass Bernard. That's my favorite shit. And the fact that now it's not just like in season 3 he had to separate himself, like there was half of him that was like, he was like, please remember who you are, and then he'd click the button and he'd go into like analyzation mode and start whooping ass. Now he's just like, I know what I must do.
He's Neo.
Yeah, he is.
He's downloaded every... Dude, you think he just looked at future possibility? No, he's been training. He's been trained in everything. Everything. He's seen everything. He knows everything. Dude's OP. I don't know.
Okay, what are the possibilities on Christina being Dolores and having brought Rehoboam with her when she entered the Valley Beyond at death? And that kind of being what we're seeing Bernard interact with in Ake. Like, what if Ake is the personification of Rehoboam in the Valley?
Okay. I guess, like, the Valley Beyond, it is, in its nature, just a computer. Mm-hmm. It's just stored. Like on a computer. It is, the host...
It's digital, yeah.
They need something to store it. So wherever Dolores sent it, I don't even want to think about it anymore. Where she sent it. Whatever. It's back on Earth. It would make sense to to want a supercomputer. The best computer you got on the planet. The best computer you got on the planet at the time, Rehoboam. Dang, they thought, oh shit, it's gone. Fuck. That would have been really nice. Because we could have had a Valley Beyond that's like super upgraded. We all could have had our own world. CPU would not even been cutting a sweat, But then they're like, oh, wait a minute. This Dolores here seems to have leftover Rehoboam DNA. We need a physical thing to keep the Valley Beyond in. Like that physical computer has to be there in the real world in order for the Valley Beyond to exist. There needs to be something actual real thing there. And who's to say that real thing just isn't Dolores' body? Like that hosts... It's just that Dolores, and
right.
She is it. This is... But then how are people there that are saying, it's your first time here, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
What? Is that just to wake her up, or are those real people? Like, if she is the computer.
Were they like examples of remnant memories that she's coding in, where she recalls people saying shit like that in Westworld? Like, I don't know, man. Now, like, that's the thing, is that if I don't know if Rehoboam has anything to do with Christina's reality, but now I'm fairly certain Christina's reality has something to do with what Bernard did, because he saw the tower, walked into the tower, and was there, and the tower is being mentioned in Christina's storyline. So, like, there's clearly a connection there. And the only way I can think Dolores is any chance at being alive is because she's connected to Rehoboam. But what is this? What role do they all play in that side of the story? I have no idea what's going on. I have all.
Was
the pieces.
Rehoboam exploded?
It was erased.
Yeah,
Caleb,
but it was still like there, like still in its like in the building. The building was maybe messed up a little bit, but like Rehoboam itself and everything, it was all good, right?
Fairly certain. Yeah.
Okay, it didn't blow up. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, yeah. In this trailer for the next episode, it's for like 3 frames. Very, very short. And it just shows Rehoboam, the ball just dropping, and the building just everything is being destroyed. Why need to do that? If it's erased and it's not doing anything, why blow it up? You know, something is going on there. Do we know? So the tower just like isn't. It's not physical. But it's like emitting a noise that controls everybody. That's the thing. Is that like the flies they're in there, whatever, but they need this whum, whatever to control everybody. And that's the song that people can't hear. Maeve was like, oh, you can't hear that. Perhaps it's at a frequency you can't hear. Whatever. I think that's the song they're talking about.
So you think that song is coming from the tower somehow?
Yeah, because that's what the crazy guy's saying. You know, he's like, you can't hear it. You know, there's a song emitting from the tower.
I get that, but so that would mean that the tower exists in reality as well, like in Maeve and Caleb's real world.
See, that's where I'm lost a little bit. Is that like? It seems that it has to. If it's emitting, unless the sound is just like a metaphor for the control. You know, it's not actually emitting a sound in the physical world because, like, I don't know. Would you have to have multiple towers around the world, or does one just cover the whole Earth? What's the radius of this?
Yeah, my thing is that I think it's probably a similar thing to the way Bernard was seeing forward in season 2, I think, and like the way they could see the Valley Gate. It's just something the robots can hear that humanity can't. I don't think it exists in their reality. I think it exists in the cloud, if you will, like sort of just like so maybe Rehoboam has been repurposed. You know, like maybe it has been repurposed to contain that sort of thing.
I mean, as a host, computers, I mean, like, the more computing power you have, you know, the stronger you can be. The faster you can count, you know, and like, at the time, there's no other computer that even stands close to Rehoboam. And like, it would make a lot of sense for them to want it on their side.
True.
And yeah, I'm watching the trailer again, and yeah, Rehoboam just fucking takes a dive, dude. It just
I do think maybe we're about to get some exploration of Caleb and Maeve's time that we don't see, and they have something to do with the destruction of Rehoboam. Maybe there's something there. But until then, I don't really know where to go with it in relevance to Rehoboam.
Where was Rehoboam at in the world? Do we know? Like where's like they had it?
I think it was in wherever.
Was it Paris?
Wherever Insight was. Yeah. No, Paris is destroyed in their world. Destroyed by a nuclear event of some sort.
Damn. Not Paris.
It was either someplace in Europe or New York, and I can't remember which it is, but
Okay.
because it's wherever Insight was based, and I want to say that's New York, but I'm not. I can't be for sure.
Do we know? No, because Bernard, the only time we've seen the tower is in the Valley Beyond. We don't know where it is in the physical world, if it even exists in the physical world.
I don't think it exists in the physical world.
Ah, damn.
Ah, damn. Ah, damn indeed. But, Stubbs then joins Bernard outside, just as a militarized SUV pulls on up, and it's driven by some woman, who we are now convinced is Caleb's daughter, played by Aurora Perrineau, who Bernard says, she is the key. And he shows her the drawing he made of the maze, which prompts her to ask, how long has he been with the cause? And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, love rebellion sort of sells. This is so hype. I love revolutionary type beat. And this has it written all over it. He says, seems like lifetimes. And that means he's in so many realities. He's joined this cause, watched how it plays out for him, done it in a whole other reality, just to see how many times it could go perfect.
Oh,
so it's legit. He has been a part of this cause for lifetimes.
And this is a cause he does not want to belong to. Like, if they find out he's a host,
he's fucked.
So, like, he is that confident. He's just using them, you know. He's like, so it's either their interests align somehow, you know. Unless he's like, I imagine there's going to be a moment where they do find out that he's a host, but he's like, yo, actually, my core programming is to love humans and, like, you know, like, protect you guys. Mm-hmm. Like, this guy's to protect me, I am to protect you. And the common threat from me and you is Dolores. And that is who you need to kill. You can't kill her without me. Basically, maybe.
See, the thing for me is that for there to be a need for a cause, I don't take this as we're a select few who have seen what's coming. No, it's happened. There are a few left.
Yeah,
It is the cause.
So Bernard, the world's been taken over.
The world's been done. You were right about Bernard being in the reality where shit's done. I think where Bernard is in the timeline.
This makes sense. Yes.
Humans are done for, and the cause is humanity trying to survive. And that's just it, you know. And,
just playing devil's advocate.
Oh yeah, and like I don't want to talk about it like I know. Obviously, we don't know, but that's my theory.
There is still a 7-year gap that we don't know what happened, and the last time we saw of it, the world was going into chaos. Like there was just stuff was happening. So there could be a cause, you know, in the immediate reaction after that. In the 7-year gap, we don't know.
True.
I think it makes more sense, and like. Stubbs has been there for 20 years.
I don't doubt it.
Dang. I guess he doesn't need anything.
He doesn't need to eat. He doesn't need to refuel or anything. Like, it's just, he just exists, you know? Like, it's I don't know, man. I think
there isn't a need for a cause unless something big has already happened.
I mean, like, how long have you been with... But they came from a diner where there were just normal people working.
True.
So, like, it's not like all of humanity left is just, like, done for. They still thought they were meeting with humans who were actually robots. So it might not be that far down the road. It might be in line with the 7 years. Where they've selected the 250 that are hosts now. And
immediately in those 7 years, do you think there's already, like, just these hosts walking around like this?
Oh, there have been 250.
But you think that these two... Like,
they probably
in the 7 years, they're going for people who are high level of importance, you think, you know? Like, you're getting important people first. I don't think these 249 people are just random people on the street.
I don't think all of them are. I don't think there's any reason for some of them not to be, though. Like, even if you got, like, fucking 20 normal people, that's still 230,
I guess their mission was to try to find these people that Bernard is with.
Exactly.
So
they can pick out, like,
they're just henchmen.
Seen with Carver.
Okay, true.
Seen with Carver later on in the episode, they are not opposed to picking out specific people they need to replace in an effort to get what they need done.
True.
True. So, like, it could just be the same fucking timeline, you know, like, but I don't know. The fact that the cause to me implies shit is much more dire than what Caleb and Maeve are experiencing with the park opening and stuff. Like, a whole revolutionary cause. I don't know. I don't take that to be happening amidst the same 7-year period. I don't know. But maybe it's just a little bit further beyond that. Nevertheless, she tells them to get in the car, and she's suspicious of them, pulls the guns on them, and he's like, understandable, I get it. Here you go, here's a bag. She finds the decapitated head of a host inside, and he explains, you know, he's one of them, ready to infiltrate your group. And Bernard explains the meet was a setup, an attempt to infiltrate, and he can help her organization if she takes him to the, quote, condemned lands. I don't take there to be condemned lands in the time that Maeve and Caleb are in. I like condemned.
Oh shit! They made a hell.
Maybe they did.
Did they? Who? Out of the hosts, who are you going to send to the condemned lands? I mean, like, I guess if there's still a need for the revolution, would Dolores be there? Or is she still kicking and going? It seems that she's still kicking and going because she's sending henchmen to try to find these people and snuff out any revolution that there is. So I'd say Dolores is still in power at this time, actually.
Yeah, Charlotte Dolores.
Okay, for sure. So the condemned lands is anyone who evil Dolores would want to... Any host that is... So, like... Teddy and Christine.
Christina?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. So you're in the camp that the condemned lands might be a confined space for those types of people in the real world?
Would there be any reasonings for a human to go there?
That's my thing, is that I take it that the condemned lands would be for humans.
You think it's like physical?
Yeah.
Like condemned lands?
He wouldn't have brought it up to her. It would have been an admittance that he's a robot.
Oh, duh. Wait, so it's just in the middle of nowhere, super protected by these lasers. So what... And... hella people there too. Like,
could it be that these are the last place where humans are kicking it? It's just in this general area near the condemned lands.
Yeah. So what is it? Is that what they call their? Like, I'm assuming they have some sort of civilization, whether it's underground or something over here. Why do they bring a shovel? What's the shovel for?
Yeah, condemned implies vacant. Empty.
If this is 20 years in the future, then is this the same land that William bought already?
Maybe.
Because Bernard is there. Bernard is there for a reason, obviously.
Right.
This dude is there for a reason, and there's a weapon. That's what he said. There is a weapon. EMP, maybe. Maybe it's like the last EMP on Earth. I don't know.
I have no idea, man.
What's the shovel for? Don't forget the shovel. We need the shovel. It shows them. It shows them digging in the trailer. The little.
How many people are digging?
I think it's just Bernard.
Well, he says the weapon is buried out here.
Is it literally just like surface level? Like it's not like in a bunker that's underground. It's just literally like buried in the sand somewhere.
Well, what if you dig up a door to a bunker?
Okay.
You can get down there.
Okay, yeah. It shows. I'm just gonna call her fucking Caleb's daughter. What's her actual name? The character name?
They did not give us a name.
Not like even Caleb's real daughter.
Caleb's daughter, Frankie.
Yeah, Frankie. Thank you. So Frankie, it's Frankie and Bernard with the shovel stabbed into the ground already. Like seemingly they've done the work and they're looking at something that we don't know, basically. And I mean, I don't know. You should watch this like last little recap.
I'm gonna make sure. I completely forgot about it last night.
It shows like Charlotte, Dolores, and Caleb together, and Caleb's like, "What did you do to me?" Like, and he's freaking out, and he's like, he's going, AWOL. And Hale says like, as it's showing like the flies and the people that have killed themselves, she's like, Caleb's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "What?" And then Dolores responds saying like, "It's what I'm going to do to your entire kind," is what she says. Mm-hmm. So like, we thought that like she was going to take over their minds and like use their bodies for something, but maybe it is just to take over and swift end everybody. Like, you know, like how better of a way to end humanity than just have everyone to do it themselves. Like, you know, which is rough,
twisted. Man. All right, but Bernard says he knows that she and her group have been hiding, searching for something, and he can find it. And she agrees to take them, but she has to blindfold them first. And after disabling some booby traps in the desert, those lasers you mentioned earlier, they are greeted by the rest of her crew, led by Daniel Wu. It's the actor, not the character, Daniel Wu. And Bernard tells them that he knows where to find the weapon in the sand that they are looking for out there. So, that's the intention here. They're going to dig up a weapon. That's kind of that.
Yeah, there's another frame of Bernard actually physically digging. Frankie is standing right over him, looking at it, and there's a bunch of other crew people there with him as well. And it's just a random spot, it looks like. Nothing
too spectacular
just
about it.
in the desert. Yeah.
Right.
And then it shows Rehoboam crashing right after that. Maybe the weapon is Rehoboam buried.
Ooh. That would definitely
back
mean it was
up.
Later.
It's like the freaking Ultron story, dude. How do you defeat Ultron? You get another super bot to wake up and infect its brain and then take it out from the inside like Dolores is trying to do from the humans. They're going to do what she's doing. They're going to freaking play the Uno reverse card on her.
Uno reverse card. Duh.
Shit.
Of course.
I'm putting that down.
Yep, Uno reverse card against Charlotte Dolores. But
card being played.
Meanwhile, over in the Golden Age, aka Temperance. It's another name for it. We're in Années Folles, which is a French term that literally translates to crazy or silly years, used to describe the 1920s in France. So Années Folles, the Golden Age, kind of a synonym here for what's going on in the park here. And our other couple, Maeve and Caleb, are walking through a series of loops from Westworld that are just really shoddy imitations of what Westworld was. You know, he bumps into the guy nearly, like, and they have the little standoff, and he's like, he's just there to draw you in. You know, we got the guy calling for the hunt of the Hector Eschaton equal, and just all that's going back over and over.
The can rolling on the ground. Caleb about to pick it up.
Don't pick that up, darling. But man, this felt so fun. Just because, like, I was like, oh, we're back in it, man. This feels like season 1 all over again. This is the type of shit that I've been waiting for.
Is this a coincidence? Because at first I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, this is just cool fan service. You know, it's cool. They're just recycling the old story in a different era. Cool. But, like, this story is literally playing out how we saw it. And, like, they have a Dolores in Westworld, the secret story that even some guests are in on. The Westworld Massacre. They're playing that.
Isn't that fucking sick and twisted?
Yeah. So they're playing that story to people. I think it's just Dolores' evil, twisted way of being like, I'm showing you exactly what happened, what I'm doing, as it's happening to all of you. You know, I think, like, it's like, you're just letting me do this. You know, like,
right.
It's the same story. You're letting this happen. You're letting history repeat itself.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit of just a fuck you. Like,
yeah, or it could just be like, she didn't want to have to write all new stories, so she's just like, fuck it, copy paste. There.
Well, yeah, that too. I think it was like another example of like the laziness of throwing this park together and being like, yeah, we have a purpose. It's not for you to have a brand new fucking experience. You know what you're getting here. So like, I don't know. I'm very interested as to where that's all heading. And you know, throughout all this, Maeve is telling Caleb, you know, that they need to get to the underground hub. And Caleb's like, well, how do we do that? And she's like, well, we'll have to die. And Caleb's like, well, that's not exactly my bag here, honey. Not quite the sort of thing that I do. And they come upon the Butterfly Club, our equivalent to the Mariposa. And Maeve is not impressed with the club or its versions of herself or Clementine. And Thendiwe Newton is just, I love Maeve. I love Maeve, and the actress there is just fucking incredible. And she overhears Deborah, who we briefly met on the train last episode, say she wants to find an Easter egg, a hidden narrative she believes that exists within the park that is supposedly, quote, better than Pariah, which I don't know if you remember Pariah, but that's where they found El Lazo and stuff in season 1. Like, if you made it to Pariah, it was like, oh god, it's a whole other level out here, you know, like.
And why would people want to play this?
Because they're fucking sick.
Like, it's taking
Rich
a mass murdering.
bastards.
Yeah, like it. But like, they're the people who died.
No, they are not. Not to them.
Oh, it was just the park employees that died. Well, no.
Well, no, people there died.
Yeah,
but I don't. Think,
but it's just it wasn't them.
I think you're giving these rich bastards a little too much credit.
Oh, damn,
I think
that's sad.
I think they're just rich assholes who are like, didn't happen to me.
Oh, damn.
And it's also sort of a.
Like I can experience what they did
showing.
without the threat of actually dying.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was the greatest horror they could have possibly experienced, but now they get to turn it around on them and actually kill the robots, win the interaction instead of losing it. And as far as they know, fairly certain they will lose long term in this.
That is rough.
Yeah, it is indeed. But Maeve grabs a table and tells Caleb that they need to wait for history to repeat itself. You know, it'll happen all over again. These robots will rise up. It'll be just fine. And It's not long before the player piano begins a jazz version, of
Billie
Enter Sandman.
Eilish. Dude, wasn't it playing? It was playing "Bad Guy" by Billie Eilish at like first. Whenever like they first
Was
walked
it? I didn't
in.
even catch that.
Yeah, it was. Well, it's just because I have subtitles on. And whenever it started, it said like "Bad Guy," piano version of "Bad Guy" by Billie Eilish starts.
No shit.
And I was listening to it, and I was
Was
like,
it
like, yeah.
I'll have to check that out
No,
again.
yeah, it was sick. Yeah, it was.
But
sick.
what I did notice is that it plays a jazz version of Enter Sandman by Metallica a second later, indicating the arrival of this reality's version of Hector.
Knowing exactly how it's going to play out was just cool.
Oh man, watching it all happen again.
The horse is just the
cop.
The car instead.
The cop walking up like, "Hey, you
I'm
can't
like,
be here."
Well, you're
as
dead,
soon
bud.
as he
I'm
put
sorry.
the gun out the window and pointed at the cop, I looked at Emily and I went, "Mayhem," and it started. I was like, "Fuck yes!" But we actually have Armistice here, like the actual same robot playing the same role, and the whole gang. He hands her the gun, tosses him the chain, and they're replaying the events of the originals performed in Sweetwater, and Maeve declares Hector still knows how to make an entrance, and Caleb sees that she's quite sad, and he asks, did you know him? And she says, nah, he's just kind of a shitty imitation of a man she used to know. And like, goddamn, really sucks that like Hector's dead.
Yeah.
Season 3, like when I rewatched season 3, that was one thing I forgot.
Oh, he was.
Dolores crushed his control unit. Like, he's done.
No!
He is done.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, it was just a fuck you to Maeve. She had the opportunity to kill Maeve then and there. Chose to kill Hector instead.
Jeez.
Brutal. Just brutal shit. But,
moves the new Maeve out of the way, just
the whole
like
same
it,
shit. And, as he's talking this shit, Maeve goes ahead and gives him one through the dome, and she's like, I'm sorry, darling. Like, this isn't your fault, but we've got places to be. Shoots her, and they sneak into the Undertaker's truck and infiltrate the underground hub. Or so they think. But Maeve quickly realizes, upon being down there, that something is wrong with the level. There's no map of it. There's something different about this place. And then a security alarm goes off, and the security guards jogging and are like, it's not safe. And I was like, damn, are they really doing this already? Like, was it like orchestrated to happen like this? Like, is this the setup that they wanted? Like, it feels weird to just go ahead and pull trigger on the first night. But and then, as it plays out, you start to realize, okay, they were recreating the events of the Westworld massacre, and that's so sick. That is so sick.
Like Dolores or Maeve Caleb was like, Dolores? And then Maeve was like, I believe she was going by Wyatt by now, darling.
Yes, at this stage.
Which was, it is, I don't think it was just strictly fan service why they're like repeating the story. I think it's like, there's something there, just whether it's to show how twisted the people are, and like how they're just falling suit into exactly what they're supposed to be, and that's all it is. That that's cool. But I don't know. Maybe if there is some deeper meaning, and like,
that was the thing, is that I was like, oh shit! As soon as I realized that humans weren't getting shot, like they were just fine.
I guess this is the first park in America, right? So like people would have heard of that as just it would have just been a distant like massacre that happened in Europe or wherever or on an island. Wherever
an island off the coast of
yeah.
China.
Oh, okay. So yeah, rich assholes in America, they'd be like, oh, okay, but it's here now, and we could play that. Yeah, I definitely see that. Oh, dude, that's so sad.
Oh, dude, it's pathetic. But she realizes the entire level is the secret game that chick was talking about, the Westworld Massacre, and Maeve discovers the entrance to the actual lower level they need to get to, and. But not before Deborah, being the goddamn rich psychopath she is, just opens fire because, fair enough, she wouldn't expect that anyone who's sentient would actually get shot. Like, that's... Humans can't die. I can just shoot my gun wherever I want. oh, well, you shot Maeve, and we really can't have that, because she can get killed by these bullets. And I was like, fuck!
Yeah, like Caleb went down just because he thought he got shot, but then he's like, oh yeah, oh wait.
Oh yeah, I'm fine. Shit. Sorry, Maeve. But, you know, she declares that the whole experience was cathartic, Deborah. Which implies, it's not like straightforward, but it implies that she is getting a sense of like closure from this sort of thing. Like it's fixing something that ails her. Like, or it could just be like, man, I love killing bastards in a way that's safe.
Well, I guess
she could have.
The whole world would have been pissed at AI or whatever you want to call it. Like right after, right? Because they'd be like, "Oh, dang, my whole life was decided by AI, like by Rehoboam." Everyone's pissed off. They're rioting in the streets.
That's true.
Like, they're definitely any chance they can get to kill hosts. I feel like is the closest thing that they have to like,
right? Yeah, that's fair.
They're letting off steam in their world, I guess. The closest thing they can have to killing Rehoboam. I don't know, but yeah, it is twisted, but it makes sense.
It does make sense.
Yeah, I was giving him a little too much credit at the beginning, and then I literally didn't even realize there was a rich asshole in the park on camera that we saw literally be like, "This is cathartic." Like it was literally there.
Yeah,
don't have to infer really.
But Caleb seems a little eager to jump back into soldier mode. He picks up the gun. It's like, "I'll cover you. Get to the elevator." And he sprays a little bit and lets some of the, he kills Dolores, the Dolores equivalent, and falls into Teddy's arms, and you see them kind of like sit there for a second, and you're like, oh my god, it's really just all the same. Mm-hmm. But in a very tense ride down in this elevator, he repairs Maeve's shoulder, and like I looked at Emily and was like, they fucked, right? And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, is there not just like an extremely palpable sexual tension that exists between them? Like,
I think right at the end of season 3, right there, on top of that bridge,
you can be whoever the fuck you want, and they were like, all right, yeah, I know what I want.
Right there, right
then.
I'm putting that down. I bet we see that. I bet it goes back to that moment, and then it plays out just a little longer, and then maybe they start to walk. I think they walk off. That's what it leaves you with. But then maybe they both look back, and they're like, no.
Bring it in, Dave. You just saved my fucking life. Now it's time to kiss.
Let's see. Yeah. I mean, or regardless, they've fucked. Is a safe assumption.
There's been some sort of connection here that's been formed, but on the next level, they discover a series of hidden labs run by those creepy, faceless hosts that we've seen in the past, and they're infecting flies with that black goo, the same goo that we watch ooze out of Anastasia after she was shot in the barn in episode 2, and Caleb, comments, seems familiar, does it not? We've seen this before, and as soon as Caleb comes near the fly farm, they begin to congregate on the glass in front of him. They were ready to get themselves. They're attracted to humans.
Oh yeah, like they're going to release. They're just going to release a swarm over the whole world.
No, they're just flies. Who suspects flies?
But then how do they get the black goo into everybody? Or do they need to get the black goo into
The
everybody?
black goo is in the flies.
But then why does Anastasia have black goo in her head?
Like
do the flies turn into black goo?
I think it's some sort of like they've developed some sort of like nanotechnology sort of thing.
I guess it is like a virus, Caleb said, yeah. It takes over your brain and just melts it into the blood. But then what?
I take it more as like a parasitic sort of relationship.
Fuck. Maybe. Yeah. The black goo. So if the flies go in, it turns into black goo. The little jars they have are just the dead host's black goo that they're reusing to infect more flies, to go into more people to get more black goo to infect. So they're waiting until they have enough black goo. They're growing the population of the flies until it is large enough to kill everyone. So that's the time. They're getting the bomb ready, basically, until they have enough fly population to kill everyone. They're not going to send it out. They're just going to get what they need. Scrape by. Don't make any big moves yet, until you can make the biggest move, and then whop them all.
The big move.
That's
okay.
what the tower really is. It's just a fly, just a shit ton of flies being bred.
Just a nest.
And they're going to be sent out.
Damn, man. Damn. I'm with you there. I'm with you. But, yeah, when Maeve sees that the flies are attracted to Caleb, she says they seem to like you, and before they can determine what that means, she hears a harmonic tone that he cannot hear. And she follows it into another section of the lab. And, like you said, this seems to be the same sound that houseless man might have been talking about.
It's such a weird noise too.
Very specific.
Like 4.
And you didn't you point it out in Didn't you point it out in he's been telling us all along. Didn't you point it out in the last episode whenever that there was some sort of humming that we heard in relevance to the senator and his wife?
Really? Did I say that?
I think you pointed something out about it, and I was like, I didn't even catch it.
Really?
Yeah, but
I might.
Who knows?
In whenever, what part of the episode?
Whenever they're walking in to see the stables in episode 2.
They're walking
towards the beginning.
Okay.
Wherever she's carving open the horses and stuff.
Oh. I think I said it said fly whooshes by or something like that. Maybe not a hum. Maybe it was a fly or something like that. But it was
it's right around here.
So it's whenever they walked in and find her carving up the horses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anastasia is humming. Is she humming Yeah, it'll be interesting if she hums the tone or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But it has a very distinct okay, yeah, there is a little bit of ominous music playing. A little bit of... She's definitely humming just like it.
Okay, yeah.
100%.
There's something there. Yeah, there's something there then. But...
Yeah, just like it. Oh, shoot.
Man, I can't wait to see what that is.
Oh, shoot. So... And it's the pauses in between. It makes the and then just stop for 10 seconds. And then again. And then stop for 10 seconds. She's doing it right on beat.
All right. That's okay. We shall see what the fuck that means then. I guess it's the control mechanism, but how it's emitting from seemingly a computer world into... Ours, I have no idea.
The flies are... It's the wings that resonate at a frequency. I don't know. Maybe it's in the flies.
Maybe it is
somehow,
in the flies.
Somehow.
They have little speakers.
Because, they make them. They're made. Those aren't real flies. Yeah. Those are host flies.
Yeah, exactly. They could just be... They could be built with a fucking speaker that emits that noise. Nevertheless, while Caleb's been in the park with Maeve, we're cutting back to the old abode of his with his daughter and wife, and we see Carver, played by Manny Montana, who was supposed to be helping Caleb's family go into hiding. He's been a tad replaced, just a bit, and Frankie discovers the body of the real Carver, and it's like, oh shit, okay, yeah, we gotta go. But the thing that tips her off earlier is the interaction where he said, I'll go train Bear Bear, I'll show him my best kick punch combo. And then when she comes back up, she's like, show me the move. And he goes, what move? So it happened in between there. Yeah. Like, they came by, replaced his ass, and got moving. Mm-hmm. Like, it happened in that time frame.
Yeah, his body was left right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was so concerned that at some point when, like, Uwade's getting into the safe to get the gun, that she would close the safe and, like, Uwade would be standing there. Like, another version of her would be standing there waiting. Like, oh my God, I pray that doesn't happen to her. But, he discovers the body of the real Carver and he runs to Uwade and is like, she shows him the blood. Carver's not to be trusted and stuff, and she says, I've been trained for this, I can help. Another thing that just makes me go, yeah, that's a little revolutionary in the making, come on now. But she says, this is not a game, you need to go hide, and all suspicions now that we might have had about the realness of Uwade and Frankie must be dispelled.
Yeah, no, they're real.
These are real humans, real connections that Caleb has formed. Very glad to find that out for sure. I was already believing in it, but like there were times where I was like afraid. I was like,
yeah,
oh no. But these are real people.
They're real. Yeah, I mean,
but Carver.
They do have a host of the daughter.
Yeah, but Uwade probably wouldn't have been so.
But they don't
keen on like.
They don't. If they don't know, then they're just going to act like normal humans, Right. But then what's the purpose of them being hosts? To control Caleb the whole time and keep him...
But they even found then that they couldn't. That's why Carver had to be deployed here. I think.
But, what I'm saying is, 7 years ago, they needed to keep Caleb down and whatever, so they just made him a wife and a kid. I'm thinking of the only possibility of them being fake. I don't really think they're fake. I'm just trying to find any hole or any storyline where it makes sense for them to be a host.
I don't think they are. I think they are. I can't even think of a reason that it would make sense.
How do they have a copy of the daughter though? How has she been to a Westworld park? How do they have her?
Just kind of I think that's.
How do they do that?
I think they're beyond that at this point.
They just have everyone.
How'd they have Carver? Yeah.
I don't. Oh man. Yeah. How do they have it? They just have everyone. The vice president. I guess he probably could have been to a park, realistically though.
Yeah, but regardless. Carver's searching the house, and this is one of those scenes that the tension is just absolutely building in. I'm on the edge of my fucking seat. I'm nervous as all hell. And he discovers Frankie in the closet. And we cut away at that point, and it's like, oh, fuck, what's going to happen there? And then back in the lab, Maeve and Caleb discover a bank of monitors observing test subjects for a project titled Chrysalis, and a large tower-like device creating the harmonic tone she has been hearing. And the subjects are controlled by the sound, and we see Jim Navarro from the Justice Department from last episode is amongst them. And Maeve tries to unlock their cells but can't break the encryption, and the sound compels them to build up these blocks, throw them off the table, pick up that gun, and put a bullet in their head. And I don't know that we've ever gotten such a graphic, plain, on-screen portrayal of a person shooting themselves in the head. I was like, oh, no cutaway there. I feel like there almost should have been a trigger warning for this.
It was kind of intense, and then they went right back to it and like zoomed in and showed the entry wound of and like
it was like, oh, wow, I just didn't. I like every time they've either used like a silhouette or they didn't show the person's face, they showed them from behind. Nah. You watch this dude put a bullet in his head, and I was like,
maybe
jarring.
Maybe it's a primer to what's to come. Like, it's like, you think this is bad. Just wait.
Well, because it certainly did the job, because now I'm on the edge of my seat, because last we saw, Carver was just in front of Frankie. It's not there's no confirmation that that's not actually Frankie yet. It could have been a time jump. They have Frankie now. They've got her infiltrated and stuff. And, we see Frankie, and Caleb runs to find her. And, that scene of watching that dude put a bullet in his head really made you go, oh God, oh fuck.
Shit. Yeah.
Because I was like, no way they do that, even if this kid is a robot.
I was wondering why the blocks. Why the blocks first? I was wondering, like, there's no point. Why not just have him pick up the gun and boom? That's all they're wanting. But it's just to build the suspense. Just to have Caleb's daughter go in and build the blocks and make you realize,
one at a time.
Yeah, it's just to build it up, And I was like, oh, fuck that. I was like, fuck you guys after that. Like, I'm like, there's no point for those. You just did it so that we get more and more worried and fuck with our hearts even more.
And this might be the single best piece of acting Aaron Paul has ever done in his life.
They are getting a nice performance out of him. Like, this is...
Oh, man. Him being like, Frankie, no, please, no.
Maeve! And then,
God.
Screaming for Maeve and... Oh, man.
Yeah, man. I was like... I've got chills right now just thinking about it. That man killed that shit.
Yeah.
And, just in time, just in the nick of the time, she manages to get the cell open in time, but realizes something is wrong when she sees, when she runs up to Caleb and sees Frankie for the first time. She's like, oh no, yep, that's not a human. And I kind of had that suspicion after... This was a thing in the trailer for the show that if you watched the trailer and then watched the season 1 premiere, you kind of went, oh, what the fuck? Like, it felt like spoilery territory, because they show Caleb's daughter's face opening up and flies falling out of it in the trailer for the season.
What?
Yeah.
Dang. I don't remember that.
Yeah, so I was like...
I watched that trailer or not.
I never did. I didn't until like after I watched the second episode or something like that, because I was like, all right, I feel like we've probably seen enough now. But then I saw that and I was like, excuse me?
Wow.
But luckily, devoid of context, we see that Frankie is in fact still alive. It was just a duplicate of her in order to trap Caleb. So like, it is they did twist it on you, but it was probably more than we needed to see, if I'm being for real about a trailer. But she manages.
So they knew, this has been an elaborate trap. They
invited them to the park and knew this would probably be what their impulse was.
Wow. How? So is Dolores' plan with him just to kill them? Ideally, or
it's probably a similar thing she plans to do to I don't know, because she made him have the flies inside of him. So maybe it's like a shit, man, I don't know. I don't know what her intentions could possibly be with them. Specifically Caleb. Maeve, it would make sense for her to just want to kill. Like, you're a pain in my ass. I don't have any purpose for you beyond you fighting me, so bye. But before she can get to Caleb and tell him that she's discovered that Frankie is not, in fact, Frankie, she's stopped by the Man in Black, or as this Entertainment Weekly article notes him, the Host in Black.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I was like, that's hard. That's hard. I like
that.
He says he's been looking forward to this, and she replies that she's not yet tired of getting your ass kicked by me. He's like, what the hell, man? You ready? You really ready to get your ass kicked again? And then, she kicks his ass, and she shoots him and runs off to get Caleb, and she got his ass. She put him down, but is once again stopped by the Host in Black, who tells her he's not quite the man he used to be. And I was like, yes, now Maeve knows the Man in Black, William, is not the Man in Black, William.
Well, that wasn't the same body, though.
No, it was not. That was another.
Now, there's a question that arises from this, and it's how many are there?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's 50.
Oh, yeah.
Just on standby, or out in the world doing stuff. Well,
conducting business.
I guess a famous person like that can't really have himself seen in multiple locations at once, probably. I don't know.
But they got backups, just in case.
But it was very, I think it was made kind of obvious that wasn't the same body at all. It's just they're treating them as disposable and kind of like an agent in the Matrix sort of thing, I feel.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that they can choose any body they want. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be having Williams
I thought about that.
Man in
why
Black.
not use young William sort of thing? If he can choose whatever body he wants, but it's so Ed Harris can cash a check.
100%.
Which is just I'd
rather it be that way. I don't know. I'd rather.
I would rather it be Ed Harris, no matter what. That's the dude right there. But that was. I loved that because Maeve's like, oh fuck, you are a host. What have they done? What else have they done? And Frankie tells her father as she grips his forearms that he can't leave. She wants you to stay. All she needed was you. And we flash back to the closet at Caleb's house, and Frankie shoots Carver in the eye with her BB gun, and he's like, oh, did you really think that little gun was going to... He gets his brain blown out. With the real gun from the safe, and Uwade grabs Frankie and they run out into the night, and I was like, oh, thank God. That was the only thing I was concerned about. The tension being built was, oh God, did they kill Frankie and turn her into a host? Nah, they just already had host Frankie on standby.
That was nice to see him running away.
Yes, for sure.
And I think the line earlier in the episode of but what if we're not home whenever Daddy comes home, whatever? And then she was like, well, he will find us. He was like, well, why? He's like, well, there's nothing that's going to stop him from not. And
yeah, man,
so
I
don't know.
I love this little family, man. I'm glad they're real, and I'm glad they're because I wanted it to be true, and I'm so glad that we're getting mostly confirmation that it is. I guess it's still a possibility, but much less a possibility than it's ever been. And in the lab, Caleb realizes, you're not Frankie, as she grips his arms and opens her face, releasing a swarm of flies that crawl into his ears and eyes. And we cut to black on a horrified Caleb with flies all over him. And man, I love this show. I love this show.
Yeah, this is what a way, just a new fear. I never thought of flies as scary ever, and now I don't know. I don't like it.
I shall never view them the same. Shall we rate this episode?
I think we shall. This one...
Hey, man. I think we might have our first 5 enjoyment for an episode.
Yeah.
Like, that episode ended, and I was like,
Whoa.
okay, that's what I love about Westworld,
Yeah.
man. Like, that's that shit right there.
Yeah.
For those joining us for the first time, Weird Spot, episode 3. Go back and check out episodes 1 and 2. We have the Penny Bloom rating system, which consists of 3 ratings out of 5 stars. We have enjoyment, just how much the episode connected with us, how much we enjoyed that feeling, as it fulfills its genre, which, again, probably did pretty fucking well here, and as it was critically, all around filmmaking, acting, score, all that goes into that rating. But with that, we gave this one a 5 out of 5 in enjoyment. How about we get onto the genre now?
And is
sci-fi
this,
horror?
Yeah. All right. You know, is this a genre per episode, or just genre as Westworld is a show as for television, or both?
I think it's kind of a combination. Like it is sci-fi in general, but the fact that it had the horror tinge to it is important, and I think it does enhance it.
Oh, I liked it. Yeah, it was a nice addition. It wasn't just like, oh, they just did this to do it. You know, it didn't feel forced. Like, it felt real, because like these situations would be pretty freaking scary. Like,
man, I think this is another 5 out of 5 as far as the genre is concerned. We have Bernard's entire thing,
dude,
with the sublime and becoming a god, basically knowing all the different possibilities and how things are going to play out. We got a revolutionary cause trying to save humanity.
Little sprinkles of freaking flies that infect people and control them with this noise from a tower that we now saw.
We got a robot's face. We got a robot's face opening up, a robot replacing a human on the spot in this episode. Like,
seeing the whole Westworld massacre play out in story form.
This is a 5 out of 5 genre-wise. This is as good a sci-fi episode as they've done. And this might be one of my favorite fucking episodes of Westworld period.
Dude, HBO, television, they are winning. Like, I don't know. Whenever House of Dragon comes out, oh, dude, like, I don't know.
Never lost, bro.
This is episode 3 of 8.
3 of 8, man.
We are only dipping our toes in. We still got so much left. We're halfway next week. Yeah,
man.
Critically now,
it's pretty fucking good. This is the first one where it's not a 5. It's solid. I think that within the episode we did get a pretty well contained arc of, you know, what were Maeve and Caleb going to find when they went into Westworld. Well, they found what they found. Bernard, we leave kind of open ended. You know, they're here to get get a weapon. But he's lived 1,000 lifetimes in the span of this episode. The acting, like I said, incredible. You pointed out a score element earlier with the piano version of Bad Guy by Billie Eilish, which is cool. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good episode of television. What are you feeling?
I'm trying to think if, like, as a single story, like if I liked it more than episodes 1 and 2, or like if I put this on, I feel like this is, I don't know if it's the best made episode of the season. I think it's my favorite of the season so far as like watching it and enjoying it.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm with you there. I still think episode 1's probably our peak filmmaking wise, and storytelling wise. I think that's still the standard the series is set. However, I think that the tension they built in this episode cannot be understated. That's a massive plus in the corner of this episode. I'd say this is better than last week, not quite what episode 1 was. And a 4.7 4.65, that kind of range feels right to me.
Maybe just 4.7 flat, maybe. gives the whole episode a 4.9.
It's a damn good episode of television.
Yeah. I mean, that's a Godfather. You know? That's a...
Yeah, right.
Well, 4.9 on the film, at least for Godfather. But on average-wise, it ties with Forrest Gump, obviously, this episode. It's such a fitting comparison to make.
Of course,
above
yes.
King,
when it comes to episodes of television, and obviously we rate episodes of television a little bit differently than we rate movies.
Yeah. Not quite an Interstellar, not quite a Slumdog Millionaire, but a little bit better than a Jaws or a King Kong. You know, that's how I would put it on a normal, on a Monday. That's how I'd describe this episode.
That's how I'd do it. But man, so a 4.9 out of 5 stars is close to perfect as an episode can get when it comes to TV. I think that might be amongst our highest rated episodes of television ever as we've done it.
Obi-Wan finale, the episode before that. So the last 2 episodes of Kenobi are a little higher. The 4, 9, 5, and 5. We gave the finale of a Kenobi a 5. Moon Knight, the Tomb almost did it, but then the second to last episode was a 4.95, Asylum.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess
that makes me feel good. We still got room to elevate.
What's the state of the world prediction now? I think it's
I've got
split.
A few different times.
I think it's split between the times. So the state of the world as it pertains to Bernard,
closer to ruin than it is in Maeve and Caleb's time.
Closer to ruin. So I am of the boat that the whole world, humans don't have much. They don't have much at all. They got this desert and this little diner. That's all we know. And this secret base in the middle of the desert. That's the condemned lands. That's, this is all humans got. I feel,
right. Why would there just be some random little fucking diner if that's all they have? That can't be it.
Okay, fair. And if this is all of humanity that's left, they don't have a shot. Really. I guess they got Bernard now, though. They got Bernard now,
but
then you have to repopulate the whole planet again. Like, I don't think they're going that far, unless all of humanity is trapped in and they can get them out somehow. And these are the only non-infected. Okay,
maybe.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going pretty much whole world takeover. And the humans that we're seeing are just the non-infected ones.
I feel you.
And then, are you going just...
I'm still surface level Maeve and Caleb. As they present it, it's not normal anymore because of the robots that do exist, but as normal as this reality can be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then what about Christine?
Christina doesn't exist in the physical world. I'm still there. It's still some sort of simulation. Now, where that simulation is, I could not tell you. That's where I'm lost.
That's all we know. Yeah, it's... And, okay. What... If that little, next episode trailer, if that Rehoboam scene happens in this episode, the destruction of Rehoboam, why do you think they're destroying it in the first place?
I would think that's a part of a flashback with Caleb and Maeve taking destruction to whatever they did in the last 7 years that has led them to where they're at. We have a mention in this episode of Caleb saying you saved my life once, it's time I repaid the favor. And we did see her save his life in season 3, but there's a flashback in the first episode that we did not see in season 3, where he's like bleeding out and somehow he's fine. That wasn't in season 3. That's something that happened since then.
Dude, Rehoboam would have definitely been destroyed right away. Humanity would have been like, "Oh, we're coming for you." Like,
yeah, exactly.
They would have gone straight there. I was thinking kind of like it might have still been existing for a little bit somehow, and nobody touched it, but like that'd be one of the first things to go, I feel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Okay. Because I was thinking like maybe Bernard was going there somehow in this 20 years in the future, you know, and it would still be there, but nah, it's not there, and it doesn't last a year. It doesn't last a month. It doesn't last a week, a day, really.
Yeah.
Like,
nah.
Okay, that's interesting. Why does she need Caleb? You have to stay. She only needed you. Why Caleb?
That I have no clue on. That is one that I'm letting that unfold. I don't even know where to begin with why she might need Caleb. Like, want Caleb to, like, torture him? Sure. Need Caleb? I have no idea.
So Bernard is all-knowing now. You know, he's seen everything. Is it fair to assume that Dolores did the same thing? Or has been doing the same thing?
I guess she could have.
She has multiple consciousnesses. What's to say one of them hasn't just been chilling in the Valley Beyond the whole
Toiling
time?
Away in the Valley Beyond.
And that's how she knows everything, and how she's like taking over.
Is that one Christina?
The one that's in the Valley Beyond unknowingly, but can be accessed at times, maybe?
Yeah, man, I don't fucking know. Man.
Yeah, I only leave every episode with more questions. You know, they never really answer them, is the thing. Usually a lot of them are answered at once in a big reveal, so we just haven't had that big reveal yet.
Hey, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I love being in the dark, especially with this show, man.
Oh, it's such a better way to watch the show. Week by week. Like,
the more I can not put things together, the more exciting it is when it does come together. Like, that's just how this works.
We have this just intertangled web of things, and all of a sudden it's just going to become like crystal clear, and they just like all come together so clean. You're going to be like, when the light bulb clicks, it's like, that feeling. Like,
it's the best. It's the best. But yeah, with that, Années Folles comes to a 4.9 out of 5 stars on the Penny Bloom scale. If you would, head to patreon.com/CoroBloom, where you'll find over 24 hours of exclusive content. All that money goes back into making sure I can put this podcast on. Costs money, and I don't make any off of it, unless it's over there, so that is greatly appreciated. I'm starting to do some book reviews and my weekly comic book pull list. I'm going to start putting up every week, putting up an episode with a review. I'm reading a lot more Star Wars books these days. This week I've started engaging in the Star Wars High Republic era, so I just finished Star Wars Light of the Jedi. So that review will be up on Thursday, along with my pull list for the week in relevance to, Marvel and DC and Dark Horse Comics. So always head over there and check it out. Head to Twitter, follow @PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram @PennyBloomPodcast. Leave a 5-star rate and review wherever you might be listening, and make sure, if you're a Westworld fan and know other Westworld fans, that you're showing this podcast to other Westworld fans. We really appreciate that. If you're fucking with me and Joe, we're doing our 52-year journey through film currently, and Westworld's all about questioning your reality and all that's put before you. And this Friday, we reach 1998, which is The Truman Show. That's the show. That's the episode coming out this week. So you can be sure to go check that out on Friday, July 15th. Next Friday, we got The Matrix. So I just know you sci-fi fans are going to fucking love that. And with that, we'll be finishing up the 90s. So we only got a couple weeks left in the 90s before we reach the aughts. So be sure to go check that out. As I said, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It is always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And these violent delights have violent ends.